Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Feel Report, Season 2 now that we're getting right into this.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Let's
about.
go.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is incredible. And, of course, I'm Mins. Alongside me is Boyce, PotatoMalone, and Ninjx. Of course, you might have seen them faces around, of course, because Boyce, Valorant, Potato, we did see him lovely in the Apex Legends side, and Ninjx, Overwatch. And how you guys doing there tonight?
Oh yeah, excited to be here. You'll report season 2.
I've been awake since 5 in the morning. I've been flying flight sims all day, and now I'm here to talk about games. I love my life.
The only games I am playing is Honesty, because honestly, I am happy that the Feel Report is finally here, and we're ready to talk about a bunch of things.
Honestly, I'm excited here myself too. Finally getting back here to talk all about Fanshawe Fuel and all of the teams that we have that are going up into action right now. Because it's still starting off with just a few weeks only for all these teams that are kind of getting into it, eh? I mean, we only had just a couple games that were going down for Fortnite, and you know what, like Overwatch going into it, and beautiful we're Barack.
We're so back. We're so back.
We're so back. It's amazing. And we're so back. Let's actually get into some of those team introductions now to start things off.
Ooh, I'm excited to see what kind of players we have here. Obviously, we've seen these in the casting. I myself casting some of them, but yeah, I'm very excited to see the faces of everyone here.
Yeah, we're going to actually kick things off with the Apex Legends team, and we have a roster video that we're going to just start off here as we're going to slide over to that.
Yeah, I'm in your town, I'm coming your way, just wait up. Me and my team ain't taking no L's, I told them you don't want to play us. We going downtown with a flight in the morning, so fuck it, I'm just going to stay up. Remember last year, I told them the price, and now they all want to pay up. They hit me now, they coming too late, all I reply is just save up. Me and my guys, we did it ourselves, so no one can say that they made us. They gave me the shit, they trying to guard me, I told them you gotta go straight up.
What an incredible roster video. And that main roster there is God Awful, Rusty G, and Rain for Apex Legends. And actually, over in the ECAC action, they're sitting 4th place with 155 score.
Oh, yeah. They're doing quite well.
Yeah.
Really well, as a matter of fact. Rusty G. Yeah, let me take over here. Rusty G is my captain last time I played. And I have to say, on the sticks, he's a menace. He is an absolute menace on the sticks. His new teammates, Rain and God Awful. Honestly, I have to say they have to pick up the pace because Rusty G will be leading the pack and they have to catch up with him.
So, Potato, I got to ask though, are they only allowed to play on controller or is it keyboard and mouse too?
Okay, so it's a mix of both. I was on keyboard and mouse when I was playing Apex basically for a comp. Mostly you'll find controller though. A lot of people just use the controller because aim assist is just way too strong, and that's why I hate controller. I hate aim assist. I see Rusty, he's my captain. I respect him and love him to bits and everything, but him on the sticks is deadly. It's deadly. It's like as much as you try as a person to like match their skills and everything, you can't. An AI, a computer does like at least half the work for you.
Okay. So you're saying they actually have it easier?
It's not really that they have it easier because basically everyone else is on controllers as well. Ever since like last year, they made controllers just a little bit stronger. They added a little bit more aim assist to it, and the pros, all of them mostly have switched from mouse and key to controller. And most teams, if you're on mouse and key, they just won't give you a second look basically. But if you're on controller and you're good and you've got insane mechanics, then you're gonna go a long way, just like Rusty G.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes the skill gap can just be different in that type of style of play. But Boyce, you were actually going to say something there.
I've never played any all the games I've ever competed in don't even have controller support, so I can't say anything about aim assist. But like, I'm even before we were talking about some clips we're gonna get to later for one of the other segments, and we're talking about like aim assist, just how weird it looks to someone who's played keyboard and mouse their whole life, and it's just like things just look different, and it just shouldn't look that way in my brain. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. It just doesn't.
It's a skill gap.
Ninjx, why are you laughing over there?
One way to put it. Hey, you've got aim assist in your game. What are you laughing at?
What? No, we do not. Not on PC.
There's no aim assist in Overwatch, even for controller?
Mouse and keyboard does not have any aim assist.
It does on console, though, right?
On console, but they can.
Okay, well, that's what I was
thinking.
The
controller on PC, it's eliminated because it doesn't exist for the client of PC.
Yeah. Well, okay. But I mean, we are going to be moving into Call of Duty now, though. And that's another fully controller, fully aim assist onto that one.
Oh no,
aim assist.
But let's get into that main roster. Main roster holds Shenanigan, Bonk, Sus, and Fiend. They do have Boss Ross that will sub in time to time as a known named player that you might know about. But right now they're actually sitting in third place with 3 wins and 2 losses in Nace. So they are doing well, but they have taken a couple losses, unfortunately. But overall, they do have quite a good, strong team that will probably keep up with high of these type of competitions. What do you think, though, Potato? You've been casting,
honestly,
you've been seeing this team.
Yeah, I've been looking at the team, and I have to say, what I was told initially is one of their players, I'm not going to mention who it is, right? I'm going to be respectful here. One of the players was the weakest link. But I've kept my eye on this player, and I have to say, he's not the weakest link, but in fact, he's like the person who's like leading the charge, taking control of most of the time. So if they're thinking that person is the weakest link, I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. I mean, they've won a game, lost a game, and I think they've won another one. They've won 2-1 right now. They have a long way to go to like keep winning more. I mean, they have to keep playing together. But I got my eyes on them. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, honestly, it is interesting because their last game they just won 3-0 against NSU, and it was a really good dominating game they were out there against. And that was actually Boss Frost was subbing in for them, and Al Shenanigans was out. So it did kind of seem like the dynamic that they were playing out there was still doing well. But I don't know. I think there is probably still some areas they need to work on, maybe a little bit on their hard point sector, it seems like. Because, like, especially just from their last game, they did really strong. But when they're up against some of those stronger teams, you can really see, like, when they're trying to fight and get to, like, the next hard point. Because, I mean, these maps are huge in comparison to, like, all the other competitive older maps that they played on. So I think it'll be interesting to see how much they'll keep going forward into this. And, I mean, I think they'll make it to playoffs.
Oh, definitely. They're absolutely skilled, and I've just seen them the way that they play. Whenever an enemy makes a mistake, they take advantage of it. So they're definitely not a weak team. Absolutely not a weak team. Like, they're definitely gonna make playoffs. The question is, how far are they gonna go?
Mm-hmm. That is a massive question for that side. How far will they actually make it? But as we move into the next sort of sector for teams, we're going to move on to Counter-Strike 2. And here we're just going to take a quick look at the main roster. The main roster holds the captain Nylander, and then we got Defiant, Tyler S, Jeep, and Jacob. And unfortunately, right now in Nace, they are actually sitting at the bottom of the standings with 4 losses and no wins. But they have been actually still holding up in each game they've been playing, though. Like, it's been still sort of close matches, but they just have not been able to break through on their first win yet. I've actually, Ninjx, you and I were casting just this Friday for the game, and you know what? It was actually an intense game. It was
surprisingly, surprisingly, it was actually really close. Like, you can't count this team out. They've been excelling in multiple ways that you haven't thought of. And against the Drexel, they still were getting nutty plays but left and right. It's just like a game like Counter-Strike where the difference can just be the minute detail can make the match, right? But don't count them out. They've been going strong, and even if they're 0-4, they can still turn that to a 4-1 and win the league. Just all mentality, right? So I do believe these boys, a strong team with strong chemistry, they still had all smiles and hearts. So hopefully they'll be able to pull it through.
Yeah, honestly, I think they will be able to pull it through. Like, they do have such good vibes. Like you come into the room and you talk to them, they're all prepared. And even just on Friday there, they were so locked in for that game. The way that they were practicing and preparing for it, they want these wins, and they're so close at it. And even Nylander was mentioning that they're trying to work on like their defensive side on rounds to try and make themselves be a little bit better. And you can see they improved onto that, even just from their previous match. Like their defense was like a lot stronger, but I think maybe it's just a little bit of, could be chemistry that it might come down to. And I mean, boys, you probably even might know that yourself, because I mean, these two games are fairly similar a little bit, from Valorant to CS2. I don't know, maybe you might have a few cents to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I came from Counter-Strike, and I think it's actually worth noting that this is the first semester that we are missing one of the players that was actually on like one of the original rosters from when I started playing Counter-Strike 4 years ago. This is the first year that we're missing Hugo Splata, or the first semester we're missing him. So it's a lot of the team that's just kind of left over, but they're missing that core piece that's been there for so long. And I don't know if there's anything to do with it. There's also the fact, Jacob coming from Val, he's done the reverse of what most of the Val players have done, where they've gone from Counter-Strike. He's gone to it. And I know I was talking to him. I ran into him at the Oasis, and we were chatting about it. And he's just talking about how it's a different game. It's a learning curve to get back into it. Even though the fundamentals are the same, it's going to take them time to adjust to that, even just for the one player. And one player can make a huge impact in that game.
Oh yeah, I honestly, you can really see that time to time when one player can just quickly jump in and make a whole change around. And you know what, like exactly what you're saying, like Uga Splata. I remember, I think, what was it, last year or even 2 years ago, I heard about his name and I'm like, what about this guy? What about him? And then seeing him play was like, oh, okay. Yeah, he makes such a big impact. And honestly, yeah, that's kind of what you like to see when one player can change around the whole dynamic like that.
Absolutely.
But, I think we do have to move on to Fortnite, as we do have some top teams there. Yeah,
new teams.
Yeah, and
there we go.
It's quite interesting. We have 5 teams that are running for build. So Lucas, Emran, Greg, Quack, Swifty, and Suckerdukes. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Team 4, Music and Mush. Team 5 is Peter and Jerry. And then the no builds trio is The Door, Drag, and Mush. That's interesting.
That's actually an interesting build comp. The duos of the Team 5 for build is actually something that I was actually not expecting to have that many teams. So I'm very, very happy that Fortnite is getting this attention that needed. And then a no build duo. One of our casters, Dragon, into here as well, and also another player, The Door and Mush. Wow.
Wasn't The Door one of our league players? Why we've got more game swaps going on?
Overwatch.
No, he's on Overwatch.
Yeah. What am I thinking? Why did I think that it was a League of Legends player?
Oh my god.
Why did I think, maybe he tried out or something, or maybe I'm thinking of this because I saw him at the Overwatch tryouts last semester when I had to fill for you guys. I don't remember. I am tweaking. Thank you, Cheapest. I am definitely tweaking. Ignore me. I'm not here.
Yeah, Nabil, big. I actually know Nabil. He recently has been struggling with a lot of life stuff. So to see him get some representation, also really, really nice to see that these teams are finally coming to play. I'm very excited to see if maybe I could be cast, or maybe one of us would be casted as well, to see what these teams have in store for Fortnite. Fortnite's a very articulate game because of the battle royale. Same thing with Apex, but it's a little bit different because you have build, you have a bunch of items to take care of as well. It's just a different way of play, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of plays that these teams come up with.
Honestly, I'm a lot more excited on the no build side, to be honest, because
100%. Yeah,
I feel 100%. I feel like the build man is way too complex. Even when I've ever played Fortnite myself, the build just, oh my god, my head just spun. And just seeing people, like the way that they were able just to build so fast, it was like, how'd you just make a house like that in under 10 seconds?
You build one and you see the Empire State Building and how across the distance just build.
I feel like that's the reason a lot of people stopped playing Fortnite and then also came back to it when they introduced the no build mode. when you shoot someone and see the twin towers being built in front of you, it's kind of demoralizing to be like, I want to attack this person. You just kind of run the other way. But ever since no build came up, the game has been fun. You've been just able to explore like the game and play it for fun without having to worry about the sweats who you have to take out the sweats, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort to fight someone who's a builder. Like, you're fighting architects, man.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've ever watched like the Fortnite montages where it's literally I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Like it's a montage that lasts 5 minutes, and I think 10 seconds of it is someone getting shot. Like it's literally just
the edit montage where you just
oh my god, I
you
shouldn't
see
do that.
blue screens going up.
A lot of things just opened. I should not press my keyboard. I'm gonna set that down. A lot of things just popped up on my screen.
Too many tabs.
And we have too many teams, right? So what team do we actually have next coming up, Mins?
Coming up next, actually, is League of Legends. We will be talking about a little bit later into the segments, but here in the main roster for League of Legends is Platinum, LJ, Jerry, Luke, Paradox, and Wardy. And of course, we do have some people that do sub in there time to time, like Potato.
Yeah. I'm actually the captain. My title says sub, but someone hates me, I guess. That's why they changed it.
Okay. Well, you're sub because you're the coach, right? You got to lead these people.
Yeah.
That's you got to encourage them. Yeah.
So, Potato, you're saying you've been the one that's been carrying them for them sitting first place with 4 wins and no losses over there in CAC.
That has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. Every single player on that team is just a legend. They're all insanely good players, but low-key, I'll take credit just because I want to. But realistically, I did nothing. I did nothing for them. Talking to them, though, however, like we see a lot of the players, Jerry and specifically Jerry, actually, I want to shout him out just from now, really. Everybody on the team that I've talked to, like, just loves how Jerry plays. They say he's the most reliable person on the team. So shout out Jerry. And I'm just honestly excited and hoping that they continue performing as well as they've been performing, really.
Yeah, it's been a little unfortunate that we've not been able to catch them on a stream here there. But since you are showing now, Jerry, what is kind of the role that he takes over on League of Legends?
Oh, well, he is the person that gets blamed if anything goes wrong. But if everything goes right, no one's going to really thank him. He's the jungler. Everybody blames the jungler. It's always the jungler's fault. But this guy is reliable. It's like you never expect him to do a single mistake. I've played against him twice, and I've played with him once. And I have to say, I enjoyed the game where I played with him more than I enjoyed the games where I played against
him. Interesting. Okay. Because you know what? I will have to say, like, I'm not a big person that knows too much about League of Legends. Mm-hmm. So it always seems very much like a complex game to, like, follow and figure out and track. And especially hearing about that jungler position is always the one that seems like the most complex type of role to take on.
It
and
is.
Of course, like all the other roles, though, they do seem like they are a crucial asset to sort of take on.
Like you can have like 5 junglers and still win the game. That's an overstatement. But like, the jungler is straight up the most important player on the team. Like if you have a good jungler, it's the difference between like getting strong early on and then just completely overpowering the enemy team, or just like being so far behind that whenever you do need assistance from the jungler who just goes around and helps people out, basically, you're gonna like have no damage. You're not gonna have any sustain, any mobility, or any like hard CC, any way you can like capture the enemy team. But this guy Jerry, from what I'm seeing, he's playing Viego, which only has like a little bit of crowd control, and Kindred, which are two very like mechanically difficult characters to master. So he's just going absolutely crazy. Like, kudos to him.
And why are
Harry
those
Jungles?
Harry Jungles.
I have to ask though, because of recent light that's been coming out with games like League of Legends. From a perspective, what do you think what's your comment on the Smite 2 coming out? Because I know a lot of League of Legends a lot of League of Legends players don't like Smite.
Yo, I swear up, I didn't even hear about Smite 2 till you just told me about it right now.
I feel like that was really not well published. I saw about it. I think I only saw it because you mentioned it in the room while I was working the desk, Ninjx. I think that's the only reason that I knew that game even existed. I don't remember. I know I did not see it naturally. They have not done a great job pushing that game.
I've always had a history where like people like League of Legends and Smite players always contradict each other because no, we're the better move. No, we're the better move because we're the OG, or we're the better move because we're new and advanced.
One's been up for over 10 years and one's been down and releasing like Smite 2. So I don't know which one's better. Which one's better?
It's almost like Overwatch and Overwatch 2.
Moving on.
Don't mean to do anything about that. We'll move on. We'll move on.
Who do we got next?
We got into Omega
list.
Strikers, actually moving into that
Ooh.
now. So let's take a quick
players in chat.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
We got
Omega
sustain and equal equations and up and down. I was actually talking to equal equations about some of the clips that they have been in. They've been going hard. They actually have been having like a decent positive run. They've had like a couple matches lost here and there, there and here, but it's also a new format, a new league for the school to be coming into, and they've actually been performing a lot well. It actually got me into the game as well. Like it's one of those games where you can just pick up, play for fun as well. But if you take it competitively, there's a high skill curve to this.
Yeah, and actually, I think right now they're sitting with 3 wins and 1 loss, sitting just in second place over there in ECAC. So it's actually doing pretty well, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's still pretty cool for like a nice little small type of game on that. But hey, even Feel has like their own type of kit into it. I think it's kind of still a cool game to run.
Even
with.
their Pro League are hosted by their own, like the official game's YouTube. I was taking a look at some of the Pro League streams, and the commentators are still like freshly and new. For a game to get this much traction early on is actually amazing to be in the collegiate scene. So I'm very, very impressed with their players. Very impressed with how they've achieved with the wins and just making a name for themselves already for an early game and a new game like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I think it's kind of great how well Sustain really even shows all of his passion that he has over in the Discord server for the game too. You gotta love it.
Good movement, I think it is, that he goes up every day.
Oh yeah. It's hey, you know what? It's the passion. It's kind of like the passion you have for Overwatch, Ninjx.
yeah. No. I can agree. I can agree with that because even though like some games have ups and downs, I've played the game since the beginning. So I'm still gonna love big robot with big minigun turret. There's not gonna be a difference with that ever.
Oh yeah. And actually, speaking about then for Overwatch, why don't you bring us in over for Overwatch and talk to us a little bit about that main roster there.
Oh, the main roster. They did just come off actually of a win. They lost on Thursday and won on the Friday. Wasn't streamed, but the dual supports of Cheapest and Artemis, and you got the DPS Gato and the Door, and you got the tank there, Sorked as well. Captain Cheapest has been making a name for himself on this winter season. So I am proud of this team. I'm very, very glad that they've been trying even with the ups and downs, even with the state of the game as the game is currently right now. So as you said, passion is everything because Lord, we need more of it.
Oh yeah.
I can just comment on the state of the game. Listen, I know you're Overwatch players. Can I just ask, why does Cheapest look like he wants to kill us? I know the state of the game is bad, but it's okay. We got this, guys. You'll be fine.
Listen. When you have to play a frog for 2,000 years, you know, he's too much energy. There's too much positive, like going home at night, and then you close the door and everything else comes out.
He is staring into my soul in that roster reveal. He is staring at me.
He knows. He knows your malicious intents. You know.
Oh my gosh.
Don't mind Sor creepily trying to check out what's going on in the main. On the right there, he sees the death stare of Cheapest, and then you have Sork trying to see if he can. Oh boy!
Well, staring into my soul.
But okay, speaking like of Cheapest though, like a way long time ago, Cheapest and I were actually talking, and he was mentioning about some of the few new like comers to the team, and he was saying about Little Spark and Gatso to Malero. So I was like very intrigued, like how you're feeling, Ninjx, about them.
Like Gato came in with like just amazing like tracer plays. He's a player that can actually go in and out very quick and do the job to a T. But he knows how to actually to perform at the dive meta in ways that I wasn't expecting for this kind of collegiate play. So I'm very, very impressed with the performance. And then Little Spark, he's also a support player, one of the subs as well. So I'm very, very happy for him to keep steadfast. And he was actually playing for the game on Thursday and Friday too when they won Friday. So I've been very impressed with his performance, even as a sub as well, because I'm a sub as well. So I have to for him to be on that level as well is actually impressive, more impressive to me. That makes me feel like I should start achieving for more standards. And let alone, he also brings the enthusiasm to the team. He always has happy smiles. So I'm very, very happy with these new players and a lot of these new teams coming in to fuel with these positive attitude, because this is exactly what we need. We need the fuel for Fanshawe to be able to thrive in ways that we can excel in stuff that we never thought we could.
Absolutely. Plus, if you think about it, like it's unique what you're bringing up too, with like having 2 subs for Overwatch like that. Like I've never really seen that for any other team, having just players like specified in certain like areas for matches and rounds that like you have someone sub in for. Like I know, for example, a lot of times like Ninjx, you'll sub in for a moment for a certain round, and is like
because for Overwatch, it's a different game that they use the sub mechanics that certain papers can be in a good hero pool is what they call. So I could be good with a certain amount of characters, and Gato could be good with a certain amount of characters, right? So he could be more of an assassin or flanking or kind of like a jungle type of way that you can utilize in the game, or you can have me that is mainly like the solo laner that likes playing the big boys, that likes playing like the ones that do a lot of DPS as well at the same time, but just standing there at like a turret, right? And then you have players like Spark that he likes playing more of an aggressive support role where they can be up in the fray, and then you have Cheapest that's just all around. These players have many different talents for a game like this, so the way that it's played a little bit is interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, I keep hoping that you guys keep reviving the game, because honestly, you guys have been. It's been a unique style to see where you guys are just really still ruining yourself out there and keep chatting back and forth out there, trying to bring up where the passion is need to be. Plus, you know what? You guys are actually doing pretty phenomenal over in NECC. I think you guys have actually won 2 wins and just unfortunately lost.
Yeah, we're currently on a 3-1. We did lost on the Thursday against ICS it was, and then we just won against a school that started with a V. We won 2-0 there as well. So we're actually trying to make a really good name for ourselves in terms of we have people of many talents, and these talents can excel us to the top.
Yeah, and honestly, I still think you guys will probably go for a good run this season. I'm hoping for you guys. I'm rooting for it. So let's actually move over into Rainbow Six now. Let's hit into that main roster there.
Ooh, the main roster.
Rainbow Six here. We got Slippery. Voice, that would be a familiar face for you there. Brendo.
Wrong team, buddy.
Yeah, but still.
No, but in all seriousness, the reason why we have Slip, Val player, along with R6 is because unfortunately we did have the main roster of London, so we do want to give a special thanks to him. Some couple things real life comes into play more than others, but don't forget the less, because he is cheering this team on as they go through their seasons, because you still have your captain Perza that is excelling and trying to bring this team to the top, right?
Oh yeah, he's still been trying to bring the passion out there back and forth for a lot of their matches. And honestly, yeah, I think that can be a tough position sometimes. Like if things like you weren't expecting for a roster change like that to happen, and then you're sort of having to backpedal a little bit to figure out and sort things out. And honestly, the team is still really strong. I love watching them play out there. They still know what they're doing, and I think maybe just some of the small adjustments they need to take will soon to come. And I'm excited to see if how well they'll actually perform maybe a little bit later into their season, because there's still hope for them. It's still early days, eh?
Yeah, it's very impressive to like like because you don't. It hurts the mentality. A lot of the mentality stuff because you're getting used to the players. You're getting used to the chemistry. You're getting pumped up with a lot of these teams that are coming into the season as well. Even like if you have experience from the last semester on the fall coming into the winter, like you have the chemistry there, and then for them to continue push trucking on that, it's a reason why you can't count these teams out. Do you have the mentality to still beat? They have the fuel under their bellies, like they have it. You can't count them out.
Mm-hmm. You cannot count them out, and especially even moving into other teams that we can't count out either. Let's quickly head over to the video for the Rocket League main squad.
Yo, Wisey, don't we have a game in like 20 minutes? Where's Sustain?
Yo, you guys ready to cook? Guys, come on, let's do it.
Dirt. Say it again, man, and that's a reverse. Never rehearse, jumping in first. Call up the nurse, put the beat in the hearse. This is absurd, change to berserk. Don't get on the tracks, man, and they better swerve. Don't let it nerve, man, I never curse. Casting these spells when I'm spelling these words. That's real, that's too real. I've been most fella need a new deal. Trying to figure out what I should do still. Really never waiting here too still.
And that's your Fanshawe Field Rocket League main roster with Ninjx, Sustain, and Wisey Slide. And you know what? The squad has been doing pretty hot. They're actually sitting third place over in NECC with 3 wins and 1 loss. So
this team has been getting some nutty. They've been hitting some nutty shots and definitely showing it for us. So that video took me by the passion that they had just cooking in the kitchen. I'm definitely excited to see what they're whipping up for the final meals here.
Yeah, that was one of the videos of all time. Well, I'm not gonna say what, just one of the videos of all time. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Why is he planking like that? That's some porcelain.
Why is it
Oh man. Listen, if this is what gets them the wins and this is what's getting them on third place in the league, then all power to them because they've been doing. They actually. Was this the same roster that won for the NACE last semester? I'm sure, right?
Missing one player because there was a Nero
player
before.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was Nero. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's regardless of if it's missing one or not, they're still a strong team. They're coming off from a win into the next season and still getting third place already. Like these are the type of teams that we're talking about that we need to show in the spotlight in terms of the passion. We talked about before in Omega Striker Sustain having the passion for these games. But he's a man of many talents. We've seen him on Valorant, we've seen him on Rocket League, we see him on Omega Strikers. He's trying to take them all. So power to him. He's doing amazing.
He's got a title in 2.
Yeah, he does.
Absolutely. And of course you can't forget about Leopard as well. The manager, and he's also like helping them out on the side time to time like that. Like big shout out to him for the way that he's been still keeping himself and managing around. And I love to see that as well because it can help so much having someone that's going to keep motivating you and sort of uplift the mood whenever maybe in matches like you are down a few goals, you can catch something that you might not be seeing, right?
Yeah, it's like to have in any game to have a coach perspective because they're just seeing the Overwatch of everything. They're just seeing everything above. So to have that ability to be able to see key details of, okay, you're doing amazing on this, tweak this, and you're perfect. So I'm very happy for a person like Leopard able to just bring these players to their fullest.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I can't wait to see how they're going to perform out in the rest of this whole season. Of course, I still believe that we're going to be probably talking a lot more about them here on the Fuel Report. And honestly, I think right now, though, we will be heading over to the Valorant video, but I will be tossing this off over to Mr. Boyce to speak a little bit more about this.
That's on you. That's on you.
Talk after the video. Let's show the video first. Let's show the video first. I'm scared.
Sitting on 25 racks. Just got started and we ain't done yet. But a new crib, that's a goddamn flex. Sign that check. Told them last year that I've been up next. Can't take calls, but I send that text. From way downtown, but the shit's still wet. Yeah, that's a guarantee. Knowing it's me. Hey, damn, you're still doing it with ease. Cause it ain't that hard when I'm talking about me. Me and my funds. Told them I get what I want. I need my money up front. I do not do this for fun. So I've been here my whole life. I ain't seen them here once. Told them I ain't playing. They don't wanna get hurt, dog. It's about time I shut them out worse. I seen them in this shit, but now they out worse. I ain't in a race. I ain't coming first. I took a step back. They ain't in the game now. It was moving slow, so I had to find a pace now.
Well, that is also one of the videos of all time. Probably because I'm in it. That definitely helps. Yeah, that's the roster for this semester, and there's a lot of changes. All familiar faces if you've been around, but you know, coming back from last semester where we had a very different main roster. We have Jakey and Mink, the only two that are remaining from the championship roster last semester. But then returning are also Slip, who was unfortunately not eligible to play last semester, coming back, who was coaching Academy with me and Thor or Walk last semester. So the three of us kind of moving back up. Me fully shifting back into a player role has been fun. It's been an adventure this season. We've had some rough start. Pretty rough start so far, but we've also had, when you look at the standings of our divisions, we've already played like all of the hardest teams, and the next one should hopefully be the ones that we actually are doing well, which sucks because like now we're actually playing better and we're playing against the teams we didn't need to play as good against. No disrespect, full disrespect, but yeah. Yeah. Sorry, must have been interference on the microphone there.
But boys, I gotta say though, like over in CVAL, like I think you guys are unfortunately eliminated from that. Like you guys don't have any way of making.
Well, that was the first split. There's another split. There's another split, like literally next weekend.
Wait.
It's next weekend. Next March 9th.
Oh.
March 9th. It's not a calendar yet because I haven't released schedule, but March 9th.
So there's a chance.
There's next split is March 9th. I have no idea because they don't even decide the format until registration ends because it's based on how many teams join. So yeah, there's a chance. It's there. It's definitely there.
You can grab it though. Like you have the opportunity to excel in what went wrong from CVAL. Because I was catching a lot of those matches too. So there's a lot of like room for growth. And like you said, this is a new roster, right? You guys still have to find your footing and be able to excel in what went wrong.
I mean, quite frankly, CVAL, like we as a team, we kind of just play CVAL for the sake of playing it. Like it's the event that everyone plays. The competition in CVAL is ridiculous. There's 4 divisions. And it's to make like the actual playoffs, you need to win a division, and there is in each division like 100 teams, and we're in the North Division, which includes all the Fisher rosters, Northwood, all those. Like, as much as I'd love to say it's possible, sorry, I'm a bit too realistic. I know the players on a lot of those rosters personally from coaching, and I've like seen them at LANs I've gone to. I'd love to see it, but I don't think I'm going to. And honestly, it's just we just play CVAL for the sake of playing CVAL. It's better than scrims and games. Why not?
Practice is practice for the goals that
Focus,
you have set, though, right?
Focus is NECC and NACE. That's it. Which haven't been good either, but that we actually still have opportunities for because we're only halfway through the season, and we did pick up wins in both, so we are still in contention for both playoffs.
Okay, that's still some positive things to hear about all of this. And yes, exactly. Practice is practice. I think we have seen our teams, all of our teams here at Fanshawe Fuel improve on that side for practice. Because I do remember, and I'm slightly bringing out a little side of things. I always heard of not a lot of teams practicing back in the day.
Yeah, I think that's something that just Fanshawe our teams. I don't know why. I've said this semester if I was coming back to playing that we were forcing people to practice. We practice including games, we play 4 to 5 nights a week, like 2 or 3 hours a night. We are practicing a lot, and some of us have other teams we work with. I'm coaching another team. Jakey coaches another team. It's a lot of Valorant, and that's not a fun game to spend 15. I know a lot of people would spend 15 hours in like 2 days, but for me, I can't do that. This is already too much.
Oh yeah, definitely could feel that one on that side of how probably busy it's starting to get time to time. But of course, even for yourself though, to talk all about all these other teams, we still do have a lot of those academy teams that we should be shouting out to as well. So we're just gonna quickly show off to all of them, because we can't miss out onto those academy squads, because a lot of them have actually made it over back to varsity, like the main squads. And I'm just saying, like, that this is an area where you need to start working on, right? It's a spot to make those things happen. So starting things off over on Apex Legends, you got Sean, Craig, Big Daddy. That I believe, I think Potato, you've highlighted a few times that probably will. You see him actually making it over onto the main squad?
Yo, I love Big. That's why I refuse to answer this question.
Okay.
You put me on the spot, bro. Like
that might be an answer in itself. That might be an answer in itself, but we'll pretend it's not.
Okay. CPT, Loggy, and then Pandora over on the Rocket League side. Some familiar names: Wagon, Lizard Plane, Greeley, and then Call of Duty. Some familiar names there too: Botsfrost, Brunin, Didi, and Spence, and then Rainbow Six. We got Angel Grime, Better, Porter, John, and Nylander.
Beater. His name is Beater.
Beater. My apologies.
My boy.
You gotta really put the law.
You gotta say it like Lois.
Beater.
Oh.
Beater.
All right,
Like
this is
like
devolving into
beater
shit
car.
posting. Feel like
And
I'm
then
watching
Valorant.
a YouTube edit.
Yeah, Angel, Woody, Scampers, and Apple Pie, and Kradix. And boys, how do you see like the Academy squad going for Valorant?
I mean, it's the only new quote unquote player is Kradix. Woody was on the Academy roster last semester, and then Angel, Scampers, and Apple Pie were all subs last semester. So it's great to see them on starting rosters. Had some stuff last semester that kind of led to a couple of players not being able to play on a starting roster. So it's nice that we've been able to sort those things, get them out of the way, and now we've got everyone that we've wanted to play on the rosters. And shout out the subs for Academy; they've got quite a few that have been grinding for quite some time. So I don't know, they're doing pretty good. They're 2-1 right now. I think it's better than I expected them to do. No disrespect to them.
Damn.
No disrespect to them. I swear. I love them all. They're all my old teammates. Just
Yo, that's disrespectful.
you're doing better than I thought you would, and I'm proud. We'll say it like that.
Yeah, that's great.
You're digging the hole.
They're in chat right now. Okay, I can't escape. They've already heard us.
Well,
okay.
For a team like, but moving to the other team as well. What do you think? How are you impressed with Apex there as well? Potato. So are you experienced? Like, do you think they can actually excel better than the T1 here, or what's something that like
better? I wouldn't say better. No, they don't have a single controller player, and I think that's genuinely the only thing holding them down. I know Sean on the academy team is actually like his game sense is just on a different level, and his aiming, like his gunplay is just it's pristine. It's like you think he's on controller, but he's not, and that's the issue. The moment they have a controller on any one of their teams, they're gonna just automatically be doing better. But unfortunately, they don't. Not to my knowledge, anyways. I know that their starters, Sean and Beak, they don't have. They don't use controllers. I know they might have subs that come in and out. But I know for a fact that the two starters, the main starters, don't really play on controller.
Okay, I got a burning question to ask though, Potato, because you know what? Like, of course, you know a lot about this about Apex. Why? And you were on the main squad. Why? What made you actually turn off and turn away from the main squad?
Oh, it's definitely not like the fact that there was a caster in I think AVGL that was just like feeding information to his team, so I was about to do the same. That's definitely not it. That's why I'm not stating that it is. Realistically, though, Apex is just not the game that I'm following through with right now. But nah, Rusty and what's it called? Rusty, Fiend, and forgot the last guy's name, man. But
Bob?
No, it's not Bob. It's God Awful. See, that name's so God Awful. I forgot it, man. Like, they're basically fighting an uphill battle right now. Like Apex, especially with the changes that just happened, it's a whole new game. There's no idea I have no idea what's gonna happen anymore. It can go either way. Either way.
Why do I feel like that's happened multiple times? And I feel like that for a game that's not healthy.
It's a good update though. Like it's been in such a bad state for like over a year now. I think ever since season 12, and now it's on like season about I think 16 or 17. I'm not really.
Was that the rat meta?
Catching up with that. It was
the
a
rat
meta for a full year. People just decided
when it
sit in the corner, not shoot anyone. Imagine like the top players were getting like rank 1, rank 2, rank 3 by just sitting in a corner and not fighting. That's not.
I hit diamond in that meta.
Game. You hit diamond.
I don't play Apex.
And you hit diamond. Like back when I used to play, back when the game was like kind of serious, or at least how it is now as well. Once you get to diamond, that's when the game actually gets hard. But getting to diamond isn't like an easy thing. Like a lot of people would just like it's hard stuck in all of the different ranks. But this, you're just telling me you got to diamond by ratting. This is what they changed as well. Like now you only get points in ranked with like the amount of kills that you have. Like the more kills, the better rank points that you get.
And do you think this is a better like style that they have now in ranked?
It was like this before. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this is good, but let's change it." And then they changed it, and they're like, "Yo, this is trash. Why did we change it?" But they're like, they made that mistake for a full year. Like they just let the game go and focused on basically releasing heirlooms, releasing like different skins and all that. I mean, it's EA. What can you expect? But
yeah.
Now at least they're bringing it back. They're focusing on it. There's like every character now has 4 different abilities they can choose from in the middle of the game. Like the more you fight people, the more passives you can build into your character just by the level of your shield, which is for me like a very good change because you're gonna find yourself in a place where like, I'm expecting myself to be safe. I'm in high ground. Little do you know, a character comes in and just like uses their ult, or like let's say Mad Maggie, she has a ability that drills through walls. So if you're hiding behind the corner, you're just gonna be like, I'll tank this, I'll pop a battery, I'll heal the damage, and I won't even have to deal with it. Now that character gets 2 drills on a wall. So basically, if you're sitting behind that wall and you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, this is a safe place. I can just pop a battery, I can heal myself, and I'm good to go," you're gonna find yourself not understanding what's going on because like the game is different, the abilities are different, the characters are different. The gunplay is still the same, thankfully, which is leading a lot of the people who were good at the game before, they're able to take that because it's fundamentally the same game. It's just a lot of the abilities are different.
Okay. So I think that's actually an interesting perspective to look at it now for Apex Legends. But of course, I mean, it's EA on that side. You can see what's happening even for EAFC. The game looking a little interesting there. So
anyone want to talk about Star Wars Battlefront when we're talking about EA games? Anything else? Anything else out in there? Battlefield. Anything ring a bell?
They're remaking the first one.
Oh wow! I wonder how that'll go. Are my levels gonna be paywalled, or am I gonna have to?
Yes.
Or am I gonna have to add a subscription to play Darth Vader?
You're gonna have to pay a fee of $3 per month every time you played them.
I think that game will be definitely hanging on the edge, very much like Ninjx Shy Guy over there on the edge of the bedside.
But he's chilling. He's chilling. I love him. He's a good guy.
Let's move on over there to the hot streaks. Let's start things off there.
Who's got the most fuel out of here?
Oh yeah, the League of Legends one is where we're gonna start things off. And Potato, as we heard, I mean, of course, you're not the one that's carrying them for this 4-0 lead of a hot
Don't know what you're
streak.
talking about. Definitely, it's all me. All me. Now, realistically, like I said, like it's between their mid laner and their jungler. These two guys are like they've played every single game. Those are the guys who are committed as well. And like I said, I did speak earlier with the team, so ask them a few questions. And you know what surprised me the most? The captain Alexander straight up said, "Hey, we're actually like all dedicated and wanting to play more because we're still winning more. Like they started off strong and they want to keep that snowball going. And that's like the best mentality to have when you, especially when you're playing League of Legends, because in the end, League of Legends is just a game about who's going to snowball first. Which team is gonna get that one objective, that one item, that one kill that will give them a lead enough for them to snowball and stomp the other team. So right now, they've basically 4-0'd everyone that's like come up against them. They've won every match. They are, however, next match they're gonna play against Southeast Missouri, which is also the only other undefeated team. So it's gonna be between a immovable object and an unstoppable force. I mean, I'm very excited to see how that game is gonna run out.
Honestly, I'm excited to hear all about how that game goes down too, because it's probably gonna be an intense match. Very much probably how that Overwatch match was there, Ninjx with you Windsor. How it was
that match went back and forth. It was going from win to on 5 maps, because obviously it's a best of 5. You have to win 3 maps in a row or in a consecutive line. Winning that last map, if anyone that was attending the stream, you can see all of us popping off, because it was just something that it went down to the wire in terms of trying to hold that last point. We were like the mentality would hit sometimes, the mentality didn't hit sometimes, and it was just, not to sound like a broken record, but we needed fuel so much, as much as we did there. And I feel like that's what these teams have in store. To like these are why these are called a hot streak. These are the teams that are on fire, that are just doing amazing and excelling as much. And I'm really excited to see what they can just propel from here on.
Oh yeah, like even that League of Legends squad, like they have 8 map wins and they've only lost 1. So like when they're gonna go up against Missouri, I'm very excited to see on that side of like how intense it's going to be, because maybe Missouri has actually lost a few maps and has only clinched them just due to it from being in the final round, and sometimes intensity is up like that. So honestly, I'm excited to see how well they'll keep this winning streak going or not. Will it be a 5-0? Will it not? I don't know. We'll have to see there for that one. But let's move on over to the Rocket League hot streak.
Yeah, a team that's been very, very excelling in multiple different standards. As you see, they have 3-0 record here, taking 9 maps of 2 and differentiating the 7 of them. A very like, they're just a notable team all around, returning players from the win and returning on. And the only team to bring us a map 5 is who they're going to be. It was Kansas City. So to only have a 1 team out of that overall in a league like NACE is impressive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is impressive because like yeah, even the previous game they had, it was a complete sweep across. There was no real like intensity that you can notice from Fanshawe Fuel actually trying to needing to take a battle to get closer into the game. So honestly, I'm kind of excited to see how this team will keep doing on. But also, of course, you can't miss out the fact that their academy team too is going right now on an absolute hot streak too, and they're sitting just over on second.
Jeez.
So another
Oh.
Yeah, another very same similar sort of stats we're seeing from the main squad too there, eh?
Wow. Yeah, hasn't dropped a single match. Currently 0-4 right now. So hopefully when we see that match, that's going to be one that you guys want to be listening to, because once that starts going, there's only been one team that's been able to take this academy team to map 5, and that's Valpo Esports JV, which is very, very, very impressive on all fronts. So to have both teams of Rocket League in Fanshawe Field to be able to take heights in both leagues, because this is NECC. They're in NECC actually compared to the main team. So very impressed with these teams. Very impressed.
Oh yeah, honestly, I'm still again excited to see how these other games go on for them. Because honestly, Rocket League, we always have phenomenal teams going on here, and I always love watching how they play out there because they're very unique, different kind of styles of other teams I've watched from other schools. So I'm kind of excited to see how they go out there. But we do have one last team that is on a hot streak too still, which is our R6 Academy squad. And they have been absolutely doing nuts out there, not even losing a single map, which that is just insane to think about.
Yeah, taking some of the rounds here from my personal view is absolutely insanity. And even winning on maps that even the main team struggle with, like Clubhouse, is just being impressive overall. To be able to take the fight into their own hands and also to now be bringing this momentum to a team like Fighting Scots, also undefeated. Obviously, the game is yet to be determined, but just to see two powerhouses and two like teams that are excel in gunfights, it's gonna be one to watch. You're gonna be one to watch that one too.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see this, and you know what? This is not missing out from any of our other teams that are doing really strong and playing very great out there. And sooner or later, wouldn't be surprised to see more of these hot streaks come out as we get more into these regular season matches. So, any final words though from Boyce, Potato, Ninjx on some of these hot streak teams?
Well, for two of them, League and R6, there's 4 teams that haven't lost in those 2 games. The 2 teams that are going to fight each other in the games respectfully. So I'm thinking like one team is going to be, 2 teams are going to be very sad, and I just hope it's not the Fanshawe team.
Okay. Over there, Boyce. It seemed like you had something.
I was just going to say it's glad to see that at least some teams can get wins. Don't know what that feels like. That's it. That's all I had to say. Someone's got to do it, okay? Someone's got to do it. I have to take the losses so they can have the wins.
All you need is hashtag fuel up every time you start a match, and there you go.
What a great time for Slippery to come in the Twitch chat. Hey, buddy. You're not here. Don't worry about
it. That's crazy.
Yeah. But you know what? At the end of the day here, it's still great to see that we got some teams actually still running great streaks. And I honestly think that moving on to this, I think we'll see more of this happening very soon, especially maybe even to moving playoffs. You never know. A lot of things can change once that chemistry kind of kicks off with a lot of these teams. So as we're going to kind of break off from hot streaks, we are going to move on to our interview, the first interview here for the Field Report Season 2, which is going to be Al Shenanigan. So it is an interview that has already been up and going. So we'll send it right over to that, and we'll see you guys right after that interview. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this segment on the Field Report for Season 2 now. I'm Alex Allen, and here for this episode, we're here with Gabriel, or also known as Al Shenanigans on the Call of Duty team, on the main roster now.
Yes, sir.
You just in the fall segment, you were actually there over on the Academy side.
Yeah.
So now you're here on the big boy team.
Level up, yeah.
How does that feel, actually?
It was when I first made the team, I was super hyped. And being on this team, I love it. I mean, I'm new to this whole thing, college COD and stuff. I'm glad I got into Team 1 early, so to speak,
Yeah, actually making it onto that side, and coming from the Academy side and now already here. What was it actually like hearing that type of news? And I'm guessing it was Bonk that actually said to you that you were making it on the main team?
He just he hit me up and he was like, "Welcome to main team, brother. Get ready to get your work." And I was like, "Hell yeah, man, I'm ready."
Was there a bit of stress that kind of came in to be like, "Oh gosh"?
No, I didn't. I wasn't stressed at all. I was just I was really hype. I believed in myself that I was going to make the team this season, and that's what happened. I was happy about it.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of actually even showed a lot of true colors back in your academy side, and that was Modern Warfare 2, and now it's Modern Warfare 3, and you're still running more of that sub role.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay with that role. I feel more comfortable with the subs, but being a 3AR game, like sometimes you got to make that switch, and I'm just trying to get better at that AR role too. See if I can help out the team that way.
Yeah, especially Modern Warfare 3. It's such an odd type of playing outfield out there on, because like, so many players have been seen as like actually doing more of a flex type of role.
Yeah.
And it's like, who is actually just doing a consistent AR out there?
Yeah, nobody really. Like, I mean, obviously some people are going to be holding an AR a lot more than others, but I think me and Sus were more so holding the subs. So it's Bonk and Fiend will be holding ARs most of the time, but sometimes we'll switch. And then me and Sus will mainly be holding subs, but sometimes we'll switch. So we're all kind of flexing, but it's just a little different.
How do you feel with the dynamic out there, since you were just bringing up about Sus?
I love working with Sus on the sub, man. Like, he's a really good fragger. He's really good at staying alive, and he's kind of like, he plays like me. He likes going rogue. We're trying to Bonk is trying to get us to chill out a little bit with that and play a little bit more smart, which is good. It'll help us in the long run. So I love it, man. Running sub with Sus makes it a lot easier, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys actually show like a lot of like true colors and true passion when you're playing out there together.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because it seems like Sus is that more type of a flanking type of guy, especially over on the hardpoint style.
Oh yeah.
And the part is, though, it's been unique watching you and Sus play out there, because both of you guys actually like to flank. It's not just one's kind of doing it, and that can kind of throw things off, because then you don't really have someone holding more time on your point. But how do you guys kind of work that out and make it?
Well, I think that's exactly why Bonk is telling us to chill. Like you said, like if we're not completely killing the whole team, someone makes it through, that could be the end of a point hold for us, right? So Bonk's just trying to get us to chill, hold more angles and deal with them as a team, rather than having me or Sus like push up too far and either die out and then leave them in a 3v4 or something, or like they get through and then still 3v4, because then we don't have any presence in the point. So
yeah, and like regardless for even type of like game mode as well, it must be a little tough because these maps are a bit bigger.
Yeah, they are. I honestly, I don't like the fact that COD brought back OG maps in current COD. I don't think that there's a place for it. I mean, sure, it's nostalgic. I'm sure a lot of people were happy that old maps were brought back, but in a competitive play style, I just feel like it's a little too ratty. Like, there's too many angles. It's a lot.
Yeah. And, like, it is a lot from exactly what you were just saying. And back in, like, MLG days, thinking about it, like, playing on Modern Warfare 2 maps, they were great for, like, SND and capture the flag. But nowadays, it makes sense, like, why, like, you and Sus in those moments are trying to make those big flanks, because you're so used to, like, smaller maps. And then now it's a bit of, like, a chase around just to get to, like, a certain next hard point, especially on hard point, or even just SND. There's a lot more free running.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like since the movement has been like buffed like crazy, like people are flying around the map, and it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't work out like with these old maps and this new movement. I don't know, it doesn't work. I don't feel.
But it is definitely exciting here for like being on the Fanshawe field team. And just out of curiosity from that side, though, what like actually kind of brought some of the passion for you to come here to Fanshawe?
That's a good question. I know. I remember back when I was in high school, I was a big Rocket League guy, and big Rocket League guy. And I actually I reached out to Lambton in Sarnia. I messaged their esports coordinator, and I was like, hey, do I have to be a full-time student to play? Like, is it possible for me to play out of high school? All this other stuff. And he reached out to me, and he replied, but then also, like, the reception called me on my cell phone when I was in grade 11, like asking me if I was still coming to Lambton in the new thing. I was like, oh no, I'm in grade 11. Like, I got another year to go. They're like, oh, okay, well, if you have any questions, like, you know, give us a call and we'll work through it. So that was really exciting. So I think that was my first kind of look at college esports. And then I kind of gave up on Rocket League because that's a really hard game to get good at. And I've always loved COD. So I just switched to that, tried to get better, the best I could be. And when I heard that Fanshawe has a team, I decided to try out as soon as I came to Fanshawe.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a story. Like, already at grade 11, you had colleges like calling you up saying like, hey, we want you.
Yeah, literally. I was telling all my friends and my parents and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool.
And how did your parents like actually feel about that?
They were really supportive. And even now they're still really supportive. They're like telling me to practice more and like, you could go pro, you just gotta stick to it and all this. So they're very supportive, and I'm grateful for that.
Oh,
it's awesome.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
It's always great to actually have parents that are going to be behind your back,
right,
wherever you're trying to make it.
Especially with something like this, I feel like it could be a bit controversial with kids who just want to play video games for a living, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Because some parents, they might not kind of see it in that type of light.
Yeah.
And it can be hard to sort of actually show them like, hey, like, look what's actually happening here.
Yeah.
We can actually make a living off of this. And I got to ask though, what is your rank though for Rocket League?
Rocket League, at my peak, back when Grand Champ was the highest, I was Grand Champ in season 9, 11, 7. And then when SSL came out, I hit Grand Champ 2 once and Grand Champ 1 more time. So I'm sitting steady at Grand Champ.
Okay. So
yeah.
You can still throw down with probably a lot of field players here.
Yeah. I was thinking about trying out, but I just felt like it might be too much, like COD and Rocket League. So
yeah, it can be a lot. Like there is a few players, I think, for field that are actually doing something like that. And it does seem like they probably put a lot on their plate.
Yeah, just like I just feel like games and scrims might, you know, not line up right, and I'd have to pick one or the other, and it's kind of hard to do that, right? You got to show up for both.
Yeah, you would, and you would want to try to actually keep like making it and putting the type of focus into it for like each game.
Yeah.
But Call of Duty though, which one was it that actually kind of brought like, yeah, I want to kind of keep playing more competitive Call of Duty?
I'd probably have to say, ooh, that's tough. Because back when I was young, I was like probably 12, 13, playing Call of Duty Ghosts. Finally made a GB account, and I was playing competitive COD there. So I want to say that's where it all started, to play competitive Call of Duty. I didn't really take it seriously though. Like, I was just playing for fun, really. And then I think in Modern Warfare 2019, that's kind of when I wanted to take it more seriously. It was after that game, yeah.
Modern Warfare, yeah. That was a bit of a different change. I think it was a lot more of like the graphics kind of was getting improved onto that.
Yeah, I love that game. Yeah, that was a huge bump, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, was there like any old classic game that like got you into Call of Duty though?
I remember when I was younger, I used to play World at War on the Wii though. On the Wii, yeah. That's probably actually the first COD I've ever played was World at War on the Wii.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
yeah.
Was it with like the old like Wii? Like,
Not even. I was just freehanded that.
oh my
I just
god,
freehanded it with the little remote.
Wii remote and the nunchuck.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, what are the man? Those are the days,
Right? So simple. That's so fun. Yeah,
Wow.
missed that.
Yeah, that's when they like embarked on their whole Call of Duty zombies and
Oh,
everything.
yeah, I love zombies, man. It's
Man,
fun.
so much has changed from there. But are you liking how they are kind of making the competitive style for Call of Duty?
I like the direction that they've been going towards. I like the movement. I just think that bringing back the old maps was not a good idea. Like it's too ratty. Like all people do is hold headies and stuff, and it kind of just limits like how much things can happen throughout a match. You know, because if people are all just holding headies, like it's just going to be really standoffish. Nobody like it's going to be harder to make plays. Like, and that's technically like obviously that's the goal is to make it harder to make plays, but. I don't know. I feel like, and I could be biased too because I'm a sub player. So you know, I like running around and I like being really aggressive and trying to stay alive in enemy lines. But that's just my take.
Well, yeah, and I mean it makes sense though from speaking to the sub players. Like, yeah, like the smaller maps makes more sense to run around, including slide canceling and all that too.
Yeah,
and it must be tough because like you're still trying to. Like balance on doing schoolwork and actually practicing too, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Speaking of the school though, what program are you in?
Police Foundations. First year. Yeah.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about going into? What actually made you want to do that? Actually,
this might be generic, but I like helping people. You know, I like helping people. I want to be able to do something in my career that could maybe make a difference to other people around me. You know what I mean? Not to get too sentimental, but you know, honestly,
that's a great way to actually look at it. Mm-hmm. You know, definitely, if you think about it back a few years, like police probably was not getting the good reputation that it should have been, and honestly, it's kind of great, like to see that someone actually wants to stand up and make a strong impact out there for all the police.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I hear that answer a lot in my program. Like a lot of kids kind of have the same goal as me. That's why I say it's generic, but you got to have those people there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there anyone like in your family that actually was in police?
Nope. Nope. I do have some family in law, like they're lawyers and stuff. But no cops that I'm aware of.
Oh, so that's pretty neat though, that they probably will give you like some neat advice here or there for some of the laws.
Yeah.
Especially having that type of close family into it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And
I think so. Yeah.
Parents were pretty supportive on that side too.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents are the best. Like they're always supportive. Like, yeah, I love them a lot. They're always supportive of whatever I do.
No.
Yeah.
And the other thing, and this is kind of going off topic from like just education itself, but it was an interesting tweet that got to bring up Potsy onto this one. Shout out to Potsy for this. That he actually made an interesting tweet lately about that a lot of Call of Duty players, if it can be kind of a hard thing for them if they're only going to revolve like their life around just playing Call of Duty and don't take a step away from it. So actually like hearing it from yourself of how you feel about that, of like taking a step away, like what are some things you kind of do to get away from it?
Yeah. Mainly if I'm not playing video games, then I'm watching movies with my girlfriend or hanging out with my mom or my dad, hanging out with friends, go to some parties, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, stuff like that. Any college kid.
Of course. And I mean, like, how do you feel actually like keeping that type of balance, like of going to a few parties or actually going to hang out with your girlfriend? Like, does she ever kind of
I don't know, maybe she's just like, you're playing too much Call of Duty.
Definitely do. Yeah, man, I'm trying to balance that one out still, but we're making do.
Do you feel though like it actually kind of improves on the way you play out there when you do step away from the game?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I feel like if you do anything too much, you could just, for me anyways, I could end up overthinking it and try to look at everything that I could possibly do and then end up not doing much of anything. You know what I mean? So I think stepping away and then just kind of letting yourself react to what's happening is probably the best way to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean on that, because it kind of probably helps you then with like the type of mindset out there.
Yeah, and you trust yourself better, and when you have that confidence, it definitely helps out. So
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Last couple questions, of course. Finalizing on some things for this the rest of the season for this Call of Duty team. What are some areas you're hoping to improve on with the team?
Trying to do it. Cap says, try to play back a little bit more, have an angle, be present on the hill and help out that way instead of going rogue and just being a smarter COD player, kind of, I guess, sticking to the fundamentals of the game, like holding headies and trying to rip people down when they push you. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, is there like any team out there that you guys are kind of feeling a little bit of a vengeance from?
I don't think so. I feel like, we've never been really bitter after a defeat. You know what I mean? Like at the other team anyways, like obviously might be a little bit frustrated within ourselves maybe at most, but we're not really bitter towards any other team. No vengeance, at least for me. I don't know about the other guys, but
Blanc might be saying other things.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But he's been in here longer than I have, right? So he knows the teams. He knows the people on the team. So, maybe it just hits a little bit different for him.
And, like, actually thinking about that, like, how does it feel actually kind of getting a little bit of guidance from Bonk, and maybe it's just some actual wise words from him since he has been experienced like this?
It's awesome. I like it. Whenever I mess up or like I make a bad play, when he tells me about it, I kind of get to step back and look at it from a different perspective. Whereas me, like I could be reckless. You know what I mean? I'm just doing what I do, and then I'm not really trying to think too much about how else I could help out the team. I'm just trying to kill the other team. You know what I mean? And he's been teaching me to kind of step back, play together. And basically not throw away lives, like if I don't have to, and that's really helped me out, become a smarter player, I feel. Yeah. Even like even if I do go rogue, like him telling me and giving me tips on how to play my life better, it will help me go rogue and go off and kill a bunch of people too, because then I won't be as reckless and I can kind of take my shots and kills as they come, I get to pick and choose like what's a smart gunfight to take and what's not.
Yeah.
So.
And it seems like that will just come a lot more over time on reading plays and knowing areas where it's like, oh, maybe I should hold back a little bit more on that. And hey, I mean, sometimes it's not bad to go rogue, because you kind of popped off a few times when you went out and just was like, hey, I'm just going to eliminate these guys. I know what to do.
Yeah, that's where I'm most comfortable is out there. But, Bonk's right. You gotta play smarter, especially on the step up, like from ACAD to T1, like they know how to deal with that. So, and they do.
Oh yeah. I mean, hey, from coming just from academy to now here on the main team, that's a huge stepping stone, and pretty big to kind of think about it just from over just one single season to do that.
Yeah.
So congrats on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And got his final question here. since you do play video games and you love video games, we all love video games here. Yeah. Your all-time kind of favorite video game. It can be any range. I love asking this question.
Oh, that's so tough. Ah, man, I might have a tie, you know.
That's okay.
Halo is probably number one. Like, I love Halo. That's the first person shooter I've ever played was Halo. Yeah, me and my dad used to play that all the time, and even with my mom, like we all used to play that. We all used to play Halo on the original Xbox, and so that's probably number one for me, just for more of a sentimental reason. Then second, I'd probably say COD. I love COD. I've had lots of fun with my friends on COD over the years, and it used to be like the number one first-person shooter for so long, you know what I mean? So I feel like that kind of contributed to how much I love the game. Like, it was so famous. Everybody played it. You just have fun with your friends on COD.
Oh,
so yeah.
That's nice. A nice little sentimental piece onto it. Right. Just remembered on this one, and I gotta know, because you know I remember seeing your name, your game you're taking. I'm like, this is such a unique name. How'd you come up with it? How's Shenanigans?
Yeah, so the owl part of it, me and my friends made a clan back in grade 6 called the Larcity, and that's where the AL comes from. And then I literally just looked up cool English words, and then I saw Shenanigan. I was like, "Oh, Shenanigan, that sounds pretty sweet, actually. I like that, Shenanigan."
No way.
Yeah, that's how I got my name.
Just collaborated the two.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, thank you, Al Shenanigans, for coming on to this, and well, hope your rest of the season goes great for Call of Duty as well.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that.
And thank you, and we will be heading back to the field report.
Yeah, top 10 in a second. Run that video. Why not? Why don't you? And while we're running that top 10, we're gonna be mentioning the honorable mentions first.
Map invasion, different game mode being.
First thing we have is sustain with a double grenade across the map as soon as the round starts. This was controlled the last match they've got to play for the day, and it was basically a do or die, and this is how they started off.
My God!
Excellent double grenade by Sus over there. Next we have an excellent play on Overwatch. We've got insane tank mechanics right here.
No Suzu.
Sork just going in with the Junker Queen ultimate, getting the backline.
Sexy.
Nice.
That was insane.
I love the cheapest comms.
Not damage enough. That
Now we've got our Rainbow Six Academy team. This was the last round, them closing off the match, and it was a 1v2 clutch by Angel. And then she defuses the ball.
36 seconds remaining,
Excellent
and it's going to be Angel with a double kill, able to get one from the flank, and it's going to be Fuel taking
what a play.
to Clubhouse.
We've got the door coming up with a classic tried and true Widowmaker strat, where he just jumps up, headshots him.
Oh my!
That's what I'm talking about.
Overwatch
we do
think
have
sounds.
another Rainbow Six clip right now. London getting a 4K here. Let's see.
Let's go.
Unfortunately, did not knowing where block was coming from. It's now 18 seconds left.
Let's go, London.
Block against London Fuel here, and the ability of London able to
Clutch.
claim the life of
What a guy.
Amazing recovery from Fuel. They're
Such an awesome quad kill.
Next up, we've got Tyler S. CSGO getting an ace. Keep your eyes on the kill feed, everyone.
Maybe they're focusing on something else, but they're trying to go for a gunfight, but Ninjx is going to be able to get one. Tyler with the double kill onto Feb is going to be able to retaliate exactly what they were trying to go for, trying to eliminate that attention onto A, and it's going to be Tyler getting a third one onto
This is
Bai.
such an awesome
He has the
play.
pistol around, and he's going to be able to get a fourth
Switches to
one,
the
a
pistol,
4K
gets the
from
dink, and finishes him off so clean.
So awesome.
Just waiting, trying to find
Next, we've got this Q winning team fight game play by Gatto. Reaper going absolutely crazy. Coming in from their backline as well. They have no idea he was coming from there, and that just gave him more time to get the lead.
What team coordination? Insanity.
Cue the Jaws music.
That's it. I mean, that's kind of the nail in the coffin.
Fights that
Next up, we've got a kill with an op by Chiefs. He's a menace with an op through the smoke.
That's why exactly double flashes coming from the side of window. It's gonna be
Oh, it's blind. What?
Yeah, he just predicted him. He's just him. He is just him.
No way.
Next, we've got this play by Sustain in Rocket League.
Sustain with
the cam doesn't do it justice till you get into the replay and you get to see the aerial movements from Sustain here. This was insane.
This next clip, Valorant, boys.
Who's
you got
that?
something to say here?
They buffed this guy and gave him a gun that's 100 credits per shot. They brought him back and yeah. Thanks, Riot. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rito. Very cool.
Bro's blind? Ew. No, that's disgusting. Ew.
Why is that fair?
That was
clean.
nasty.
Clean. Next, we got another Rocket League clip.
Uh-oh, it's coming up top.
Oh my god.
And saving the best for last, we've got Bonks on Call of Duty coming up in a second. But this Rocket League clip is insane. Yeah, this right here was everyone was on the edge of their seats while this was happening. Pulls out the clutch and defuses the bomb. Check it out.
He's the last one alive.
He's waiting, but he's gonna have to make a move.
Wait.
Takes up for set. Takes up Blaze can turn into a one-on-one. Bonk
No
versus
way.
Winston. Let's see. With 19 seconds on the clock with a detonator.
He doesn't know that he's actually.
Is this him?
He sees him. He gets him.
He takes
gets
him
the defuse.
and defuses the bomb.
Bonk is legendary today. He takes down the rest of the enemy team.
And that was the final clip. That was the top clip of the entire week. And honestly, I have to say, with the amount of clips that we had, Bonk's clip of him clutching a 1v3 situation, defusing the bomb, hitting that 180 flick, going absolutely crazy, man. Like, that was beautiful to look at. Genuinely beautiful to look at, especially because it's on controller. Like, he had to, like, turn for, like, 3 business days until he arrived and looked at the enemy, you know what I mean? That is slow, but still. It is taxing. It is taxing.
He filed his taxes, like, mid-turn, right there. That's it.
Well, those are the top 10 clips. And of course, everyone, if you would like to see clips from your team or your own clips into this stream, do be sure to submit them. Ping us into the Discord. We'll be making sure to ask you guys down below, even in chat, if you want to just send in some clips. Send them wherever you want to send them. We'll be collecting all of those clips and we'll be showcasing the top clips from now on every week.
Well, you never know. You might even make it into the honorable mentions too.
Yeah. Also, you could be a host on the show and just put your own clip in there, you know? Definitely something you can do.
Hey, I said a disclaimer. I don't have anything to do with top 10s because I'm a player. I don't make the decisions. I was not chose to be in here by my decision. Don't paint the narrative.
No, the narrative you painted was disgusting. That flick shot onto the Rays. That sent chills down my spine on that one.
Thanks, Riot.
No, but like most of these plays come from these teams that are like on hot streaks. The Rocket team that we talked about before, the 2K clutch coming from Angel on Rainbow Six ACAD.
Oh, yeah.
You guys can catch these insane plays whenever we stream. Pop in, so definitely come by to the Discord chat. Come by to Fanshawe Fuel. Look at these streams and see how these amazing players just play these games. It's a wonderful, it's a masterpiece out there. They're painting something different.
Right.
Well, you know what? I think on that note, Ninjx, I think we got to get you starting to talk about all in this last final segment here about, State of Overwatch. Yeah. Honestly. It's such an interesting thing, I gotta say. Like, is it a dead game? Like, they're trying to revive it. That announcement that they brought back a few weeks.
We're gonna start off with one thing, and one thing only is the fact that like there's been speculations that the game is slowly dying off, and they're trying to do with open communication. They're trying to get it to where the game is in a good state, but unfortunately, if people remember back that one patch in October, the balance patch. It was a patch that solved everything. It was the one that brought so many things back. It solved a lot of issues. And then after that, it just up and disappeared. It exploded. And the moral of the story here is that if you know the story of the boy who cries wolf, you know for a fact that this game excels in it because holy, it is it's a back and forth of are they gonna do something? Are they gonna listen? What's gonna happen? We don't know. So my question to you guys is in terms of in terms I don't know a lot of people have played this game out in the co-cast in here, but in your personal opinion, like what do you think would be the key issues from your perspective from watching the game?
With Overwatch, I think the key issue is people are still playing it. I think that is the main problem with Overwatch 2. The fact that there's an Overwatch 2 and people like decided, you know what? Yeah, it's free to play, but still they made it worse. Overwatch 1 was like good, and then they stopped giving updates. Like, okay, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they're making the game better for like a year and a half with no updates and like nothing to do. Overwatch 2 came out. Wow! All my cosmetics are worthless. Yo, I had 200 loot boxes saved up, my guy. I'm the type of guy that would just save 200 loot boxes, 300, 400 loot boxes in any game and open them after like a year or so. I'm just that type of person. I launched Overwatch 2 and they thought, hey, by the way, we've opened your backs for you. I mean, like,
we needed to hold that moment of silence.
There's nothing I can say about that. Like, they've made the game worse in just about every way. Sure, there was a visual overhaul and they reduced the numbers of tanks. Yeah, and reducing the numbers of tanks is fun for the gameplay. I have to be honest, it makes the gameplay more fast and like you don't have to depend on like tank gap basically, right? But still, like it took them a year and a half to be like, yo, we're gonna be dropping PvE. We got -1 tanks.
Actually,
they didn't even drop the PvE, bro.
No,
like, what are they doing?
They didn't even do that.
PvE. If we're gonna talk about the state of when Overwatch 2 launched, everybody was very hyped in how like there was going to be a storyline, there was the PvE standard, there was the ability to cross progress as well, bringing your stuff from console to PC if people wanted to convert, because a lot of people were scared because they're like, oh, I've done so much on console, I want to do stuff on PC. And then a tweet happened from a certain CEO that has finally retired, so there's small glimpse of hope on there, but everyone knows the big bag boy, Bobby. His name was Bobby as his nickname, but he was the main cause of a lot of these issues as an overpowering CEO, as a lot of people know in corporations. Doesn't really do good for a company. So what happened? A certain tweet came out and said that they completely scrapped it. PvE was no more. You were not getting content. You were not getting loot boxes. You were not getting anything of standard for progression. The only thing you had left was to get some competitive points to see if you get a shiny gold gun. But even then, was it worth it? Because going into the season was a certain competitive format that everyone hated, and it was basically dealing wild cards. The way the format worked was basically the fact that if you win 5 games, you would rank up. But if you lost to 15, you wouldn't. And it was just this card play that doesn't matter how close a game was, it was either black and white, win or loss. So that completely messed up the fan base. And for about almost a year, the way that the game was played is just it was terrible. The gameplay that it provided was bland. It would shift a little bit based on balance patches and the ability to understand what characters were good and what characters was not. But something was just off. It didn't feel right. Not a lot of people like loved the game for what it does. Everybody that loved the game didn't like the game anymore because esports was dying for it. The player base was dying for it. The hard die fans that were trying to grind didn't have any incentives to grind for it. And that kind of leads into my next thing of the community, the people. There's a lot of drama in the past of the esports leagues because, newsflash, the esports league died. It's over. It's done. what they have to do? Well, about a couple weeks ago, they just released about the OWC, the Overwatch Champion Circuit or Series. That is the new esports. But when they shut down the old one, they gave $6.4 billion to each organization and say, yeah, GG, game's done. 6.4 billion. So what's that mean for going into the new competitive, the highest level of Overwatch? Well, we have some images here that can show you of what those actual prize pools are and why this kind of sends a daunting task. If you see here, they're split up into three stages. The first, second, and third stages will basically be depicting on what's going to happen for the big event, which is the major. But take a look at here. What's first place? It's $30,000. There's a point system, but that doesn't matter for now because that goes into later stuff. But $30,000, that seems like a lot of money. But if you split that 5 ways, because remember, this is a 5v5, even like a better because there's a whole player off the team from Overwatch. But remember, Overwatch 1 had a lot more money. The reason why the game's dying is because it's gaining less revenues, less player bases, and less strategize. So let's think here. If we're talking about $30,000 split 6 ways, minimum $30,000. You have your 5 players, your coach. You're getting $5,000. Last time I checked, that's not a lot of money nowadays. Now, that's not counting for subs. Because let's say you have 3 subs. 5 plus 3, last time I checked, is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Split that 9 ways. You're going home with only $3,000, about a month paycheck of a little over minimum wage job for a competitive sport, an esport of the highest level of gameplay. To me, someone that loved the game since the beginning, someone that has tried his best to keep steadfast and continue the love for a game, even on a minute level of the collegiate scene, because regardless if I'm a sub or not, I still play the game because the game is fun in the way that I do it. But that doesn't expel for the entire community. It's one of those things that's why I asked to my co-host here, like, what's your perspective? Because for me, I'm trying to find reasons to find the game, but then you have all these reasons of the CEO is taking a lot of money. You have the player base is not having any more faith in it. When you don't have the momentum, you don't have the fuel to be able to light something under the fire of a game, it's gonna die. Sometimes you go 2-6. We don't know. It's gonna happen. Sometimes you go 4-0. But my next question here to us is if you had the chance to figure out what could be the key issues to fix a game that you loved so much, like Boyce with Valorant, or Potato with Apex, or Mins with your own favorite game as well. Because
whatever that might be.
Whatever that might be.
It's Call of Duty, but I was back in like MLG days, so it's irrelevant now anyway.
Yeah, you get to say I hate this game for X reason every 6 months when you pay $80 each time.
Oh, of course, every time, yeah. We're just getting to sit here and cry every night about it.
Remember, 2-year game, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Because even I asked this because we've seen a massive spike in our fuel Overwatch 2. We recently played on February 15th, which was actually my birthday game, over 300 views for the streamed match. We peaked 45 viewers live. Fanshawe Fuel against Fusilier Windsor, 2 cities not that far apart, going head to head in a tough composition. With Captain Cheapest, he even commented that it was a tough composition, and they interviewed me asking, I'm like I'm just proud. I'm proud that for a game like this, for a game that has its very, very low points, is just excelling in more ways that we can imagine.
Nah,
But that
I'd like to disagree with you here. I feel like Overwatch is not excelling in any way whatsoever. Like
excelling
right now, man, even the gameplay is like, I don't want to say it's repetitive and it's boring and shit, but and anything, but realistically, Overwatch, man, that game is like in the gutter, man. It's straight up in the gutter. The developers didn't give it attention for a long time, and the attention that they gave it was misled, misrepresented. I think players should be angry and they shouldn't, like, straight up. I've stopped playing that game. I've what's it called? Quarantined that game. Not quarantine. I've stopped playing it.
The only thing that it excels right now is just the player base. Like you said, it's just the player base. The only thing it has going right now that's giving some type of traction is it's like a Trojan horse. It's just a husk of what it used to be, and the player base is just trying to push it little and as much as it can. But
that's
there's only so much we can do.
That's
the
problem.
That's the problem.
That's the massive problem, because I will say when Overwatch 2 came out, I was actually excited. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, this is a moment for me that I, as like a gamer that likes to play video games, and exactly what you're even saying, I'm very open. Like, I have played Valorant, I have played League of Legends, like I've went around and played these games. But for Overwatch, it was incredibly intimidating to join into it, because right away it's like, oh, you want to come into the competition level? Oh, you need to win like upwards of like 50 plus freaking games to actually get like yourself into a real competition level. And it's like, what? Like, is that the actual like ranking level to actually improve yourself here in this bloody game? It just doesn't make sense. And I think now they're changing that to make it more open competition, but it's too late. They've already lost interest on probably a lot of people that were probably in the same exact boat that I was in. So I have no clue what else they have to really freaking do to probably bring it back.
I mean, Overwatch is what, 8 years old now? I've never seen a game in 8 years of its lifetime. I mean, that game that's lasted 8 years anyways, go through a lot of changes like Overwatch did. I mean, they straight up added the number 2 to it, and then everyone else followed with like CS2 and Smite 2.
Except CS2 kept $1 million prize pools instead of 30,000.
Yeah, well, and at least they have like an intense amount of like everybody's dedicated, but it's also still a good game.
Yeah,
there we go. Honestly, in my point of view, I think Overwatch started dying more than like 2 years ago, and now it's just running on fumes and hopes and dreams of the players who are still remaining. Yet again, like if it comes back, good for it. I used to really love playing Overwatch. The first game I ever like got into a ranked system for, I got Masters, and then like I got Grandmasters, and I was like, yo, this game is fun. I'm gonna try hard it. But the moment they decided to like switch it up and stop doing updates and like kind of ruin the momentum that it had. It was building up a lot of momentum and a lot of goodwill, and then they threw that in the trash, right? That's kind of like
you want to talk about throwing the trash? Let's talk about season 9. Everybody has been seeing all over Twitter and a lot of YouTube about why the game has been dying is because, well, my head is the size of this. You put a bullet on my hands and you'll hit my head, and that's the hit touch. It's just right here. Right here.
Oh my
that
Lord.
might have been the funniest
It
thing
might have been
I've seen in any tac shooter. Like any FPS of all time. Like, hey, yeah, you can miss, but by the way, it's still gonna smack them in the face. Like there was a dude that had the Twitter video that was literally, it's like if you were, oh my god, what was anyone here ever play NHL? Like the NHL games? Or any sport games where they have like the bobblehead mode?
Yeah.
It's like the hitbox is the bobblehead mode. And why am I sitting in like practice range looking at someone look at Tracer, shoot a Kuriko knife, like it's gonna hit me in the edge of my headphone, and it's a headshot. Like it's so funny because what shooter can you miss and get the kill?
This like season 9 should be a prime example to developers of what basically not to do. If you want to try to excel your game and try to make it different, don't make the game easier. It's kind of a hard thing to say. Like I understand a lot of people, like there's a lot of like younger age community in the Overwatch because it's more of a I guess it's colorful. It looks more colorful.
It's on Disney Channel.
Yeah. Is it actually on Disney Channel?
It's been on Disney Channel before. There's been Overwatch stuff on Disney.
That's
What?
funny. I never knew
I swear
that.
to God, I can't.
never knew
I
that.
can't remember. I swear that Apollo said that to me. I don't know if he can back that up at some point, but I swear I've seen it on Disney.
Can we get
It's on
confirmation about that?
ESPN. Like they put it on sports broadcast channels. All right, it wasn't Apollo. Apollo says it wasn't him. I've seen like ads for it on
Overwatch League has
kids'
arrived at
channels.
Disney at ESPN. Yeah, it's a thing.
Yes, Disney. Thank you. That's what I'm
That's
saying. Like
nuts.
that's a professional league. It's definitely for kids. But like, the fact, where did we come from that? By the way, because that was a while ago, and now look where we're
2020.
at. Now look where we're at from here.
It's something that like I wish that they took in consideration, because Hitbox Reg, and then they re-ranked everybody. That was the main thing that brought people back to the game, because Dead 4, Dead Season 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 seasons, like a whole like almost a year just worth of sleeper, like it was filler episodes the entire time. Filler episodes. Like, bro, you could watch 100 episodes of One Piece and still get more content than what it did in Overwatch. But then they go to Season 9.
Yep, there's the image.
Like,
That's
perfect.
the exact image I'm talking about.
Magnificent.
How?
Like,
Bro, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make
That's
sense.
so
This is why I'm telling developers, don't try to make the game easier. Don't try to change the fundamental of the games. Yes, there is problems with the game, but why is not because of the fucking hit reg. There's two things that have been ruining the game since, and it has to do with that girl right there, Kiriko. She has an ability that whenever she wants, she can just throw out a little pocket, like a sage pocket, and say, yeah, you're not dying. Immortality. Immortality and anti-nades are one of the dumbest things of this game that has yet to be fixed, and literally carry this game. Why? Because developers and top developers like Seagull, Flats, Emong, J3, top streamers that have literally said the same thing. The game has to work around anti. Something that like anti is just an ability that basically denies your healing, because the game fundamental of healing your opponent, of healing your ally so they can live through damage. Well, anti just gets rid of that. It stops it. It's a negative. But it's so powerful that patches have literally revolved around that single ability to made the State of Overwatch, which was a counter meta, basically switching characters 24/7. Then it became an ability meta of, oh, we have the better abilities because we can press buttons faster. That's not skill.
League of Legends would like to have a word with you about that.
Yeah, but at least they made it into a skill, right?
But on that note, though, if we're gonna, but on that note of like you're saying they've made it into a skill, like I'm just gonna come from the perspective of Valorant. We have a meta, like we just had one of the biggest meta shifts we've had in a while, and like our meta literally changes every 6 months, whatever the episode resets. Like every act we get updates and characters are constantly getting changed. Right before the intro to VCT for us, we had Sky, who is one of the most influential agents. Pretty much every single map was being played, nerfed to the ground. A week before the start of the season.
Change.
But like stuff like that, I'm just comparing it to these changes in Overwatch. I don't understand. No, I only play Overwatch casually. Like I literally did like my ranked placements when the game came out, and that's about it. I just play it like quick plays for fun. So I'm not the greatest to analyze this type of thing, but these abilities that are being added, you guys get new characters not very often. And Kiriko's been out for quite some time, like since the start of Overwatch 2, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember the timeline for that.
Yeah, she's been out for Overwatch since Overwatch 2 came out.
Since Overwatch 2 came out. So for stuff like that, when we have new things being added, is it just you'll see it in League and Valorant sometimes, but a lot less because we're a lot more used to like having constant meta changes. But for example, CS:GO into CS2. When CS2 came out and a lot of things shifted, a lot of people who've played the game for so long that are used to one playstyle were complaining, hey, this is going to change, like the opposite is present and the smokes that can be shot away with a grenade. Like stuff like that, when your game fundamentals are changing, is it a problem with the game or a problem with the player base just not wanting to adapt and not wanting to change?
I think it's the rate of the change. Like, if it happens every 6 months, then you're just gonna get tired of being jerked around left and right. Like, oh, this character is good, psych, he's bad. Oh, this meta is good, psych, you're gonna lose. Like in CS, they barely do big changes like they did for CS2, which is why I think now it has like some of the higher viewerships it's ever had, and it's like the game is actually like still alive, still thriving. I mean, it never really was in trouble of like stagnating, but now it's like doing even better than before, and that's because they did a change. Valve is smart about this. They did a change after so long of not doing big changes into CS. Like, look at the maps, look at the smokes, look at the textures, everything about it just running on a different engine makes the game a new experience. Still, your fundamentals, you're gonna go into the game knowing, hey, this is the same way, like the AK will work kind of the same way it worked before. So you're gonna have your fundamentals, but everything else is gonna be basically a new coat of paint. But when you do that every 6 months,
that's something that Overwatch
you to the left and right. Like, what are you gonna do?
That's something that Overwatch did wrong with that too, is because like, I like the whole controversy of why they tried to do that with the patch was, okay, we need to shake up the meta somehow. We need to shake up like the way it goes. Well, in previous patches and what worked for Overwatch is because it's a fast-paced game. The updates and patch notes were coming out like every 2 months. Stuff was changing because it was just a faster paced game compared to the rest that needed constant change. It just needs change. But then they started slowing down. They started going down, slowing down, and the meta was getting boring. The gameplay loop was getting boring, and everybody got bored because they were tired of their favorite character just being to the ground. Even if you love an easy character like Junkrat that can just spam explosive grenades on a corner, he was in the dog water for a lot of it, and a lot of players didn't like him because they just like having fun. At the end of the day, a game's a game. In games like Siege, another game that I grew up, at least I can take off a win and feel good about myself. In Overwatch, you can't because you're so stressed about winning that you're stressed about having to win more. There's no benefit, and that's why I say that even in the points of now where tank feels impactful, that now they try to change the ranking system and it's too broken to deal with. Not broken, sorry. It's too difficult to rank up in the rating system because people that are not good get dogged harder because
I saw someone
one loss
lose points for winning. I don't know if that's a common thing. I saw someone I know in Masters lose points for a win. Lose 6% in Masters 4 or something, whatever it was, just some Masters thing. 6% for a law or for a win.
Yeah, there's a guy that I know in the UK. Shout out Saint. He literally went on a win-loss, and I asked him how much you want to bet that you gain 0 from that, and he said yes. Even though it's a win-loss, he had one more win than a loss in a new rank system.
I mean,
something that's supposed to solve one of the biggest fundamentals to assist to the player base, your last founding leg of the game, and to appeal to them.
Yeah, generally speaking, that like to that side, if you think about it, like it's a lot. It's like for a lot of games out there, like the developers out there, there's so much demand from all the players on like what they want for in the games, but a lot of the developers just don't like to listen to it, or they just kind of keep going with some other style on things. And it's always been an interest of mine on that. It's like, why aren't you just doing what the players have been consistently asking for what they want to see in the game
for years?
For years.
They say that there's open communication. They say that there's a bunch of communication going through, and then they don't do it. They don't. And I'm even looking at our chat saying that like because there's multiple fundamentals to our game. There's movement, aiming, positioning, knowledge. You literally have to understand what every single ability does for every character and how they interact with each other because you have to plan ahead. Tell me how many times you guys had to scrim in Val to plan your abilities, to time them right, to defend or attack a site. Every time.
So I'd like to mention something. I do have a unique perspective here because I am in the field of creating games, and I have to say, players 99% of the time don't know what they're talking about. Like, and most of the time, whenever developers do listen to players, it's mostly the professional players, the players who are so out of touch with pubs and like playing for fun that everything is like serious to them. I know when Apex changed the rank system, they were listening to the professional players at the time. Everyone hated that. Even the professional players, after the system was changed, they hated the change. Developers are not always to blame for the thing. Sometimes it's trial and error. But in Overwatch,
no.
I blame the developers. I'm just biased like that.
Yeah, no. This is just specific to Overwatch, right? Like like we know, but like if we're gonna talk in a human's perspective, it's not always the developers because, like I pointed out before, they had like you can't do something when your boss is telling you no. The CEO was completely dogging on them and saying like, no, like you can't do that, you can't do that. You're going for money, you're going for content, skins, publicity. That's it. You're just improving the gameplay to our spotlight heroes to gain more money and revenue for us. And that's why they got rid of loot boxes. Because when they went to free to play, they're like, oh, how are we gonna make money? Battle Pass. And reportedly, we don't have an image of that, but reportedly, you know the money that they made for the year of 2000, I think it was 2022 or 2023 for the yearly revenue was still $220 million.
That was
Still,
on release, right?
that was
release year?
yeah, that was from release year. Yeah, it should have been from the release year of 2020 of Overwatch. Just the whole year, it gained $220 million, and you're telling me
free to play, by the way.
Free to play, by the way. And you're
Oh,
telling
we
me
have
you
just
cannot...
Fortnite to thank for all of this, honestly.
We have a lot of games to thank for this. A lot of games to
Yeah.
thank for this.
You're telling me that with a game that has gained that much revenue, you can't put any ounce into your base, your player base, your developers. That remind you, they just laid off 1,900 people in Activision, Xbox, and Blizzard, and most of them came to Blizzard because guess what? And you get hurt from this, Mins. All of the casters for Overwatch League got laid off. All of the lore team of Overwatch got laid off. The lore, the people that were the core foundation for the PvE, for the story, that made the game to life, that brought life to these characters, laid off. Art designs, 3D art animation, one of the best thing of the game that they love, which is the landscapes of the maps. Like if there's one thing we can agree on is that the game is beautiful. The game at least looks really good. It looks amazing, but they laid them off.
Made.
And you're telling me you get all these revenues and you can't put an ounce into that.
Yeah, and I think that
Christ.
even though like just on the topic of like working with the player base and stuff like this, that like Malone was saying, where we were talking with a lot of what the companies will do is you're speaking with professional players. I'm gonna go back to League to kind of explain this, where like when we're talking about like changes for the game and stuff, it's very hard for these developers to try and balance a game where the skill floor and skill ceiling could be so different. When you look at League of Legends, where like if you were to look at like if we had like U.GG win rates for like bot laners for Aphelios or Jinx, like hyper carries ranked like 45 super negative win rates, but they're played in pro all the time. And the reason is because you can't have things like that and changes to the game where, mid or low ranked players are enjoying them. Like, oh, great, my character is good, because if it's good for a silver or gold player, is it going to be broken in pro? And then they can't just leave it broken in pro. And it becomes this just like big struggle, kind of how to balance it for all the ranks. And it's really not something to do where in a game where mechanics and just skill is either way up or way down, and it can be very low or it can be very high. I want to just direct us to a question though from Twitch chat that we had.
Yeah, that's exactly
probably
what I was going to
mostly
talk
for
about.
Ninjx. Yeah.
So this question.
For what the opinion? Go for it.
So the question from the Y Zero is, what's your opinion on Reinhardt? In his opinion is one of, or his or her opinion is one of the most stable tanks on release, and I agree with that. Being countered like every new character that comes out. Might want to be bases because he's my main, but it seems like he's games like Overwatch and League have an inherent problem with those new heroes become so overloaded that I don't copy pasta of a previous character. And that's actually an amazing point, because like what you just said, for a game to excel in Pro League and non-Pro League, Reinhardt was both. In early metas and later metas, he's a character that you know his name and you know his voice because he's such a strong staple of a character. He's just a big dude with a big shield and a big hammer. Everybody loved him. Everybody loves swinging a big hammer left and right, just knocking everything from your path. And what have they done the past year? Something that has gained them more publicity than anything in the first game. It's, in the complete first game, and they just completely dogged on him. They've introduced new characters, new mechanics, new abilities that he can counter because they're all long range, supportive, or high damage that he can't deal with at close range. I can give you 5 examples. A pull from Lifeweaver. He'll get him low. He can charge someone. He has someone in his grasp. And then just gets pulled. And then now he's useless.
Love the example.
I want to go back to the added mechanics part though that I was mentioning, where things like that being added, I know it might make one hero just like not useful in some situations, but it just I don't know. Again, I'm not a Overwatch player, so I don't think I can comment the best on this. But if things like that are being added, they're being added to change that. Obviously, everything like it's okay for things to have counters and have things to be played against. It's literally just like if we're I keep thinking back to the games that I would normally play where it's just if something counters it, you just don't do that. That's it. And in a game where there's so many heroes that you can play in Overwatch, I guess they have a fairly deep hero pool. It just feels like something that people have to get used to.
Yeah,
I think I would be able to add something here about deep hero pools because League of Legends is mentioned in the question, and League has over 300 characters, maybe 200 right now. I don't really remember the number, but I know it's over 150
Jesus.
for a fact. And every single character is unique. But here's the thing. Fundamentally, the first 40 characters that were released with the game, they were kind of used as a blueprint for the rest of for a lot of the other characters. Okay, sorry, 167 characters you can play in that game.
Still a lot.
And it's still a lot, yeah, of course. I mean, like, how do you pick? How do you learn all of them? And as someone who's been playing the game for 10 years, there's like over like 50 or maybe 60 different characters that I still don't even know what they do. Like, you rarely see these characters that whenever you see them, you never really like spend time focusing on them. But that's the thing, like, the developers use them, the older characters, as blueprints, and then also like, let's counter these old characters with new characters. But then they do a thing where they're like introducing a completely out of pocket character, something that like no one would expect to see. Like, they introduced a support some time ago that would give you attack range. That's never been done before. That's never been seen. And still, this was what, last year that they released it. The game has been out for over 12 years, and they're still coming up with new ideas, still making the game interesting and still making it fun. But I feel like Overwatch is really, really struggling in this matter because it's harder to design an FPS game than a MMO like a League of Legends.
The games are developed by passion. Games are developed by fans. Like, you fell in love with a game because a certain aspect, whether it was Call of Duty, that you just loved running around, just spraying one of your favorite guns that like, as when you're literally like, oh, it's a gun, and it just goes brrr, right? Call of Duty was good for that because it was just fast-paced motions. Apex Legends was bringing one of my favorite games, the Titanfall series, into a new light, which was the Battlefield meta, the Battle Royale meta, and it was just something new because I played Apex Legends a crap ton during the first just the first 2 years that it was out because I love Titanfall. Titanfall was such a good game because it introduces new mechanics, new abilities, huge titans that would land and crush opponents. And then you have a game that was leaked for years and everybody was anticipating on the launch of it because everybody liked a certain game called CSGO. And then they want to introduce a new twist to it, abilities. Then you got Valorant. And Valorant has excelled to that. And even that you said, boys, that there has been changes in different meta shifts that have one of the biggest meta shifts in a long time. And they're just doing it right because they hear the questions, they see the questions, and they acknowledge it. And they see that that's what makes their game their game. It's the people that play it, the people that love it, the people that understand it. A prime example of this fact is a caster in Rainbow Six Siege named Kickstar. He played the game since he came out. He got to the top level. He played in Pro League. And then he became a caster and unfortunately died in a car accident. But he is still a staple to the games. You hear his name, everyone knows him. Because the player base makes the game. And unfortunately, if you're just up there trying to get cash and up there just trying to just make a game as big as this as a cash grab, just go make a mobile game from Voodoo. Honestly.
Mobile.
No. Man, we just had tryouts for those, man.
We all love mobile games and the endless ad farming cash grabs that they are. That actually might be a good topic for next week's show or another show in the future, which we will have to pass it off until then, as we are going to start wrapping things up around here. Thank you for watching the first episode of 2024 for the Fuel Report. We have been doing this for 2 hours already, and I think we've done a good job launching this for the rest of the year. You'll be able to catch us next Sunday, same time, same place. Fanshawe Fuel on all platforms. If you want to see, if you had clips for us, if you have any questions you want to ask us, ideas for segments, what you'd like us to talk about, feel free to let us know in Twitch chat, Twitter comments, or join our Discord at fsu.ca/Discord. I'm Boyce. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me and my co-hosts, Mince, PotatoMalone, and Ninjx. We're going to close it out here tonight. We're going to go to bed. Hopefully everyone's got class in the morning. Do good on midterms. I know it's midterm week for a lot of people, and we will see you after the week on Sunday.